Veterans Park in Arlington was established in 1967. It covers 103 acres and features several notable areas, including a nationally recognized disc golf course and an outdoor performing arts venue. It's a beautiful setting with a pond, open green spaces, and wooded areas with a creek running through. But for the first 40 years of its existence, the park had nothing related to veterans. Living near the park was Lieutenant Colonel James W. Persons, a retired Marine Corps officer and Vietnam War helicopter pilot. He was a decorated aviator who had survived 3 combat tours in Vietnam. He returned home with a Bronze Star and more than a dozen air medals. After his military career, Persons devoted himself to community service, but he also carried a new mission: to ensure that Arlington's Veterans Park lived up to its name. He took issue with the lack of even a flagpole in the park, and in 2004 he set out to change this. He enlisted the help of his friends in the Great Southwest Rotary Club, and together they formed the GSW Rotary Memorial Foundation. The initial officers were Persons, architect Mike Love, and fellow veteran Albert Ross. Under Persons' leadership, they hired Schrickle Rollins, or SRA, a longtime Arlington architectural firm, to design what would become the first 3 phases of the Veterans Park project. Phase 1 would be the installation of 3 flagpoles. Phase 2 would be the park's first memorial, featuring large columns, a pedestal, and a bronze statue. Under this master plan developed by SRA for future expansion, Phase 3 offered 2 main elements: a water feature at the center of the memorial area and a colonnade closer to the pond. Featured on the colonnade would be the emblems of the different service branches. The flagpoles were installed in 2007, and the first memorial was dedicated in 2008. The centerpiece for this monument is a statue by artist Ron Moore of Mountain Home, Arkansas, cast in Arlington by Schaefer Art Bronze Casting. Though sculpted as a World War II soldier, it was meant to honor all veterans. Jim Persons passed away in 2009, but his vision carried forward, and his ideas became the catalyst for everything that followed. After Jim Persons' death, Albert Ross became the second president of the Veterans Park Foundation. In 2011, the Heroes of South Vietnam Memorial Foundation was established. This group was primarily composed of Vietnamese Americans from Arlington. They were led by Dr. Hung Dang. Their idea was to create a memorial dedicated to the Vietnam War. At the heart would be an original work created by sculptor Mark Bird, who, like Jim Persons, had been a Vietnam War helicopter pilot. Again, the piece was cast by Schaefer Bronze in Arlington. The concept was to pay homage to a statue that once stood at Ben Hoa Cemetery in Vietnam before the communist takeover. That earlier piece depicted a seated Vietnamese soldier, but without an American representation. The new sculpture was intended to include both a Vietnamese soldier and an American soldier. Initially, the drawing showed the Vietnamese figure seated and the American standing. When the members of the Vietnamese American community saw this, they strongly objected. They wanted both figures to be standing. So Mark Bird made some adjustments to the design. His art often depicts scenes from the Vietnam War or military themes, and his pieces are widely recognized and respected across the country. His work on this project exceeded all expectations. The Vietnamese community in Arlington is deeply proud of this memorial. Each year they observe April 30th, the fall of Saigon, with a special service at the site. Significantly, 3 flags fly here: the American flag, the Texas flag, and the flag of South Vietnam. a nation that has not existed for more than 50 years. The Vietnam Memorial was dedicated in 2016, and soon after, in 2018, Albert Ross passed away. Clete McAllister became the third president of the Veterans Park Foundation. Before long, the Walton Walker chapter of the Korean War Veterans Association approached him with a proposal for a Korean War Defense Veterans Memorial. Because the Korean conflict never officially ended, but concluded only in a ceasefire, they wanted to honor both those who fought in the war and those who continued to serve on the Korean Peninsula to this day. This effort was led by Jim Sharp, who had been the platoon sergeant for one of the war's 146 Medal of Honor recipients, James Stone. Stone had lived in Arlington for several years after the war. The Korean War Veterans Association offered some promising ideas, but they were not fully developed. They contributed $6,000 for the initial planning and preparation, while the Veterans Park Foundation contributed an additional $10,000. The group hired Schrickle Rollins to develop a conceptual design. SRA had designed the first memorial in the park and had created the master plan, so it was natural to involve them in the design for this monument. Included in the memorial is a large plaque that honors the memory of James Stone. The architectural and engineering firm MMA provided the final design. The latest addition to Veterans Park is the Memorial to the Fallen, which honors all citizens of Arlington who died in our nation's wars since the city's founding. The project began with two existing lists, World War II and Vietnam, compiled from earlier research, including work by Wanda Marshall of the Arlington Historical Society. Dr. James Sandy of the University of Texas at Arlington and his students expanded those lists, identifying the names not previously documented. In all, 105 names appear on the memorial. Of those, 50 were from World War II, the most significant number. The second largest number was 28 from the Vietnam War. There are 9 names from World War I, 6 from the Korean War, and 12 men listed from the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. As with the Korean Memorial, MMA provided the final design for the Memorial to the Fallen. The memorial is pentagonal in shape and set on a 5-pointed star. The foundation wanted to honor the original vision for the park, and this shape reflects the original master plan, which called for a fountain at this location featuring a 5-pointed star. The star has 3 of its points directed toward the existing memorials. That leaves 2 points open. One is intended for a future monument to our most recent wars in Southwest Asia. The other could honor those who served in World War I. Both will be significant undertakings due to the terrain and engineering required for the construction at the site. Among the names etched on the Memorial to the Fallen are Medal of Honor recipient and World War II fighter ace Neil Kirby, Arlington's only native honoree, and Preston McKee, an early mayor who left office to fight in World War I. The standard for inclusion on the memorial is whether the individual was born in Arlington, lived here for a significant time, or attended primary or secondary school in Arlington. The names of transitory individuals, such as UTA students, without other ties to the city were not included. A memorial honoring UTA students and faculty who served is also planned, with the site to be either in Veterans Park or on the UTA campus. The foundation has also been urged to create a memorial for women who served. This is a worthy idea, though it may not fit the conflict-specific theme of the memorial area. There is a fitting site for this near the park entrance. The original master plan for the Veterans Park Memorial area included only a general monument honoring veterans, along with other features commemorating the service branches. After the Vietnam and Korean memorials were installed, the foundation adopted a theme of recognizing specific wars, but one was still missing: World War II. To address this gap, the foundation plans to convert the original 2008 memorial into a dedicated World War II monument. The statue is a World War II soldier on an octagonal pedestal. Bronze plaques will be placed on alternating sides of the pedestal describing different aspects of the war, Arlington's role in it, and the contributions of UTA or North Texas Agricultural College. The Veterans Park Foundation raised funds in several ways. Some came from individual donations, while other funds came from the generous support of the Arlington Tomorrow Foundation and the Greater Arlington Lions Club. Most, however, came through events organized by the Rotary Club of Arlington. When the Great Southwest Rotary Club disbanded, the Rotary Club of Arlington took over the effort, launching two major fundraisers. The first was the Arlington Heroes Run, which brought in a modest amount of money, mainly used for the conceptual design of the Korean War Memorial and the Memorial to the Fallen. The most successful fundraiser was the Arlington Field of Honor, held in Veterans Park for 6 years. In this event, 911 full-size American flags were displayed across the park, each available for sponsorship. The Field of Honor was both a major fundraiser and a beloved community tradition. This event has been put on hold, but there is a chance that it will return in the future. Today, in 2025, the Arlington Veterans Park Foundation is affiliated with the Rotary Club of Arlington and has been renamed the Arlington Rotary Memorial Foundation. Its current president is Colonel Jim Quick. The foundation now holds an annual Veterans Day ceremony in the park's memorial area and has recently begun observing Memorial Day there as well. What began as Jim Person's determination to see a single flag raised in Veterans Park has become something much larger. His hope for a symbol of honor has grown into a memorial landscape, a place where multiple monuments now tell the story of sacrifice across generations. The memorials here are different in design and in origin, but together they create a single purpose: to honor the men and women who left Arlington to serve and those who never returned. From the first flagpoles to the newest memorials, Veterans Park gathers the city's history of sacrifice into one enduring place.